stop scrolling. Before you ignore this message, understand something very serious. God did not allow you to hear these words by accident. There is a reason your heart suddenly feels pulled toward this moment right now. In the next few minutes, you are going to discover why heaven has been slowing certain things down in your life, why doors closed without explanation, and why the struggle became heavier just before your breakthrough arrived. What you are about to hear may completely change the direction of your future, because an offer is coming into your life that will shock you, surprise the people around you, and expose the hidden trap that was secretly trying to destroy your destiny before your blessing arrived. This is not just motivation. This is a warning and an instruction for the chosen ones who have been praying silently, crying privately, and waiting for God to finally move. Stay until the end, because one part of this message contains the exact confirmation many of you begged God to show you, and if you leave too early, you may miss the very sign you prayed for. Someone close to you is not who they appear to be, and a dangerous distraction has been sent to pull you away from the opportunity heaven prepared for your life. But God is exposing everything before it is too late. The season of confusion is ending, the season of shocking favor is beginning, and after today, you will never look at your current situation the same way again. There are moments in life when heaven sends a warning before disaster arrives, and this message is one of those moments. You may think you randomly clicked on this video, but deep inside, something in your spirit already knows this is not coincidence. God is trying to get your attention because there is a dangerous trap forming around your future, and if you do not become spiritually alert now, you could delay the very blessing you have been praying for. The enemy always attacks hardest when a breakthrough is close. That is why confusion suddenly increased around you. That is why certain people began acting strangely. That is why your mind has been under pressure lately. The trap was designed to make you doubt yourself before the offer from God could reach your hands. But heaven refused to stay silent. God saw every hidden conversation, every jealous spirit, every distraction, and every silent attack that tried to move against your destiny. What scared your enemies most was not your current situation. It was the future they sensed coming over your life. They recognized the favor on you before you fully recognized it yourself. That is why some people secretly hoped you would stay broken, distracted, insecure, and emotionally exhausted. They wanted your pain to become permanent because they knew your rising would expose their darkness. But God is now separating you from every voice that was poisoning your confidence. Some relationships are ending because they cannot follow you into the next season God prepared for you. Some delays were actually divine protection. Some closed doors were heaven blocking dangerous paths you were never meant to walk through. You cried over losses without realizing God was rescuing you from future regret. The dangerous trap was never just physical. It was mental, emotional, and spiritual. The enemy wanted you tired enough to reject the opportunity that is now approaching your life. But hear this clearly. The offer coming toward you will not look ordinary. It may arrive through an unexpected conversation, a sudden connection, a new idea, or an opportunity you almost ignored. That is why you must stay spiritually awake. Stop doubting your worth. Stop listening to people who only speak fear into your future. Stop shrinking yourself to fit inside environments God already called you out of. You survived too much to miss your breakthrough now. Heaven is preparing to place something in your hands that will shock even the people who underestimated you. The struggle was not punishment, it was preparation. God was building strength inside you while silently arranging blessings behind the scenes. And very soon, the same people who questioned your future will witness the favor of God moving over your life in a way they cannot deny, because what is coming next was designed specifically for you by heaven itself. For a long time, you have been asking God for a sign, wondering if your prayers were truly being heard, wondering if the waiting season would ever end, and questioning why life became heavier right before things were supposed to improve. But what you could not see was that heaven was already arranging something behind the scenes. God was not ignoring you. God was positioning you. The offer that is about to enter your life will not be small, ordinary, or forgettable. It will shock you because it will arrive at a moment when you least expect it. Right when you thought nothing was changing, God was quietly opening doors no human being could shut. The enemy tried to convince you that your opportunity had passed, that you missed your moment, and that other people were more worthy of success, favor, and breakthrough than you. But the devil attacks hardest when he knows heaven is preparing to release something powerful into your life. That explains the emotional exhaustion you have been carrying. That explains why certain people suddenly became distant. That explains the strange battles happening inside your mind lately. The pressure increased because your breakthrough is close. Some people around you secretly hoped you would stay discouraged long enough to give up on yourself. They smiled in your face while privately doubting your future. They watched your struggles and assumed your story was ending in disappointment. But God has a way of shocking everyone at the exact moment they think nothing good can happen for you anymore. The blessing coming toward your life will silence people who underestimated you. It will answer prayers you cried over in silence. It will restore confidence the world tried to destroy inside you. And what makes this season dangerous is that the enemy knows your blessing is near. So distractions, confusion, temptation, and fear are being sent to pull your attention away from the opportunity God prepared for you. That is why you cannot afford to ignore this message. You must become spiritually alert. Not every opportunity is from God, but the one heaven is preparing will bring peace instead of confusion. It will bring clarity instead of chaos. It will push you toward purpose instead of destruction. Some of you are about to receive a life-changing connection. Others are about to receive financial favor, restoration, unexpected support, or an open door that changes everything around you. But before the blessing arrives, God is exposing the hidden trap meant to delay your destiny. Be careful who you trust in this season. Be careful what voices you allow into your spirit. Not everyone celebrating with you truly wants to see you rise. Some people are assigned to distract you right before your breakthrough. But what God has spoken over your life cannot be permanently blocked by jealousy, fear, or opposition. Heaven already decided your future before your enemies formed their opinions about you. And very soon, the same people who doubted your journey will witness God lifting you in a way no one can explain, because the offer coming into your life was planned by heaven long before you ever saw the struggle you are facing today. The dangerous trap hidden behind your delay was never meant to destroy you quickly. It was designed to slowly drain your confidence, weaken your faith, and convince you that nothing good was coming anymore. That is how the enemy works. He does not always attack with obvious destruction. Sometimes he attacks through distraction, exhaustion, discouragement, and toxic voices that quietly poison your spirit over time. And lately, many of you have felt that pressure without even understanding where it was coming from. You started questioning yourself more. You became tired emotionally. Certain situations stopped making sense. People you trusted suddenly changed their behavior. Opportunities looked close but somehow kept slipping away at the last second. But hear this carefully. God is exposing the trap before it fully closes around your destiny. The delay was not proof that heaven abandoned you. The delay was God protecting you while hidden battles were being fought behind the scenes. Some people connected to your life carried hidden intentions you could not see. They smiled around you while secretly hoping your confidence would collapse. They acted supportive while feeding your doubts in subtle ways. The enemy used certain relationships to keep your focus on pain instead of purpose, because he knew that once you fully recognized the favor over your life, nothing would be able to stop your rise. What scares darkness most is a person who finally understands their calling. That is why the attacks increased when your breakthrough got closer. The enemy knew an offer was coming into your life that could completely change your future, so he tried to trap you emotionally before the blessing arrived physically. Some of you almost walked away from your purpose because the pressure became too heavy. Some of you cried in silence while pretending to be strong for everyone else. Some of you even wondered if God forgot about you completely. But this message is your confirmation that heaven has been watching every battle you faced. God saw every tear, every betrayal, every sleepless night, and every moment you felt alone. And now the exposure season has begun. Things hidden in darkness are about to come into the light. People who secretly worked against you will no longer be able to block what heaven already approved for your life. God is separating you from environments that drain your spirit, because where you are going next requires clarity, strength, and spiritual focus. You cannot carry old fear into a new season of favor. You cannot keep listening to voices that constantly speak limitation over your future. The trap loses power the moment you recognize it, and today, God is opening your eyes. Stop apologizing for believing bigger things are possible for your life. Stop shrinking your dreams just to make insecure people comfortable. Stop doubting yourself because of temporary struggles. The blessing coming toward you is greater than the attack you survived. What delayed you will not deny you. What tried to break you actually prepared you. And very soon, the same season that almost destroyed your confidence will become the testimony that proves God was guiding you the entire time toward a future far greater than anything you imagined before. There is a reason this message reached you at this exact moment in your life, because heaven understands timing better than human understanding ever could. God knows when your spirit is close to giving up. God knows when confusion becomes heavy. God knows when your heart secretly needs confirmation that your suffering was not meaningless. And right now, you are standing at a turning point you cannot fully see yet. The enemy wanted this season to convince you that nothing was changing, that your prayers were delayed forever, and that your future would never improve beyond the struggle you currently see. But what you called delay was actually divine positioning. God was arranging people, opportunities, protection, and favor while you were fighting silent battles nobody else understood. Some things had to break apart before the right doors could open. Some relationships had to end because they were connected to the very trap sent to distract you from your purpose. Some disappointments were actually protection wearing painful clothing. If God had allowed certain plans to succeed earlier, you would have stepped into environments that could have damaged your peace, your confidence, and your destiny. That is why heaven slowed things down, not to punish you, but to preserve you. Many of you have been carrying emotional exhaustion because you kept trying to force doors that God intentionally kept closed. You thought rejection meant failure, but rejection was often redirection. The people who walked away were not always losses. Some were removals necessary for your next season. God cannot fill your hands with purpose while you are still holding on to distractions that drain your spirit. And now the season is changing. The reason this message reached you today is because an opportunity is approaching your life, and heaven does not want you to miss it because of fear, insecurity, or emotional confusion. The enemy knows something powerful is near, which is why distractions have increased around you recently. Some of you suddenly feel tempted to return to old habits, old relationships, or old thinking patterns that almost destroyed your peace before. That is not random. The enemy always attacks hardest before elevation. But God is warning you now, so you can recognize the trap before it delays your breakthrough again. You are closer than you realize. The blessing coming toward your life may arrive through an unexpected phone call, a conversation, a connection, an open door, or a sudden shift nobody saw coming. And when it happens, people will not understand how quickly your situation changed because they only saw your struggle, not the spiritual battle heaven was fighting for you behind the scenes. Stop speaking defeat over your future. Stop acting like your story is over just because the process became difficult. The waiting season built strength inside you that success alone could never create. God was teaching you discernment, patience, wisdom, and spiritual focus because the next chapter of your life requires a stronger version of you. This message found you today because heaven wanted to remind you that your breakthrough is not dead, your purpose is not lost, and your future is still covered by the hand of God, no matter how impossible things may appear right now. The blessing that is about to enter your life will shock the people who secretly counted you out because they only judged you by your struggle and never understood the favor resting over your future. Many people saw your delays, your pain, your closed doors and your silent battles, but they never saw what heaven was preparing behind the scenes. They assumed your story would end in disappointment because your process looked difficult. They mistook your waiting season for weakness. They watched you fight battles quietly and believed you would eventually give up on yourself. But God has a way of surprising everyone at the exact moment they think nothing good can happen anymore. What is coming into your life will not be ordinary. It will carry the fingerprints of heaven all over it. The opportunity, the connection, the breakthrough, the restoration, or the favor approaching you now was being prepared long before you even recognized the attack against your destiny. That is why the enemy worked so hard to keep you distracted, emotionally exhausted, and spiritually confused. Darkness knew your blessing was close before you did. The pressure increased because something powerful was moving toward your future. Some of you nearly lost hope because the waiting became painful. You prayed for answers and heard silence. You tried to stay strong while secretly wondering if God forgot about you. You smiled in front of people while carrying battles inside that nobody truly understood. But heaven was never absent from your pain. God was using every difficult season to build the strength, wisdom, and discernment you will need for the next chapter of your life. Some people would have destroyed themselves if they received the blessing too early. But God delayed certain things because your spirit needed preparation before elevation. And now the season is changing. The same people who underestimated your future are about to witness God move in ways they cannot explain. Those who secretly doubted your value will suddenly realize they misjudged you completely. Some people will become uncomfortable watching your rise because your breakthrough will expose how wrong they were about your destiny. But do not allow bitterness to enter your heart. The blessing coming into your life is too important to be poisoned by revenge, pride, or anger. God did not preserve you just to turn you into a bitter person. He preserved you so your testimony could inspire others who are still fighting battles similar to the ones you survived. Be careful in this next season, because not everyone celebrating your success will genuinely support you. Some people only stay close to benefit from your favor. That is why discernment matters now more than ever. Stay connected to God, stay humble, stay spiritually alert. The trap of distraction still exists, but it no longer has power once you recognize it clearly. Stop doubting whether your breakthrough is real. Stop speaking fear over opportunities heaven is sending your way. The favor of God is moving toward your life faster than you realize, and very soon you will look back at this painful season and understand that every delay, every betrayal, every closed door, and every struggle was leading you toward a blessing so powerful it would shock everyone who thought your story was finished. The next decision you make will determine whether you walk into the season God prepared for you or remain trapped inside the same cycle that has been draining your peace for far too long. This is not a small moment in your life. Heaven is watching how you respond right now, because the enemy understands that one wrong decision can delay a breakthrough that was meant to transform your future. That is why confusion has been surrounding you lately. That is why pressure increased the closer you moved toward your purpose. The enemy wants you emotionally exhausted, so you will choose fear over faith, comfort over growth, and distraction over destiny. But God is calling you to wake up spiritually before the opportunity passes in front of you unnoticed. Some of you are standing between two paths right now. One path feels familiar but keeps producing pain, disappointment, and frustration. The other path requires faith, courage, and trust in God even when you cannot see the full outcome yet. And the dangerous part is this. Many people miss their breakthrough because they keep returning to environments God already told them to leave behind. You cannot enter a new season while still carrying the mindset, habits, and relationships that belong to your old life. God has been trying to separate you from things secretly slowing your growth. but emotional attachment keeps pulling you backward. Some people around you only know the broken version of you, so they become uncomfortable when they see you changing. They preferred you insecure because insecurity made you easier to control. They preferred you doubtful because doubt kept you from recognizing your true value. But heaven is now pushing you toward a higher level of purpose, and not everyone connected to your current life can follow you there. This next decision is bigger than money, success, or opportunity. It is about alignment. It is about whether you will finally trust what God has been showing you deep inside your spirit. Stop ignoring the warnings you keep feeling. Stop silencing your discernment just to keep temporary peace with people who constantly drain your energy. Every time God tries to elevate someone, the enemy sends distractions disguised as comfort. Old temptations suddenly return. Toxic relationships try to reconnect. Fear whispers that failure is waiting ahead. But none of that is random. The attack increases when your breakthrough is close. The enemy is terrified of the version of you that finally becomes disciplined, spiritually focused, and confident in God's plan. Because once you fully step into your purpose, the chains that held you back for years will finally break. The next chapter of your life requires courage. It requires obedience. It requires trusting God even when your emotions feel uncertain. Some of you are one decision away from completely changing your future. One act of faith, one moment of obedience, one choice to walk away from what no longer serves your spirit. Heaven already prepared the blessing, but now the decision belongs to you. Will you keep repeating the same painful cycle, or will you finally choose the path God has been trying to lead you toward all along? What you heard today was not just another speech. It was a warning, a confirmation, and a reminder that God has not forgotten you, even during the hardest season of your life. Every delay, every betrayal, every closed door, and every silent battle carried a purpose greater than you understood in the moment. The enemy wanted you distracted, emotionally broken, and spiritually exhausted, because he knew a powerful blessing was getting closer to your life. But heaven refused to let the trap destroy your destiny. God exposed the confusion before it consumed you. God protected you from people, places, and decisions that could have delayed your future even longer. And now you finally understand why certain things had to fall apart before your breakthrough could arrive. Some relationships were assignments sent to drain your spirit. Some disappointments were actually divine protection. Some painful endings were necessary so God could lead you toward the opportunity that truly belongs to you. The offer coming into your life will not be ordinary because it was prepared by heaven long before you ever faced the struggle you are currently overcoming. That is why you must remain spiritually alert in this next season. Stay close to God. Protect your peace. Listen to your discernment. Stop shrinking yourself for people who cannot recognize your value. Stop doubting your future because of temporary pain. The struggle did not come to destroy you. It came to prepare you. You survived battles that should have broken you, and the fact that you are still standing today proves that the hand of God has been covering your life this entire time. Very soon, the same people who underestimated you will witness favor moving over your life in ways they cannot explain. The tears you cried in private will turn into testimonies spoken in public. The season of confusion is ending, the season of elevation is beginning, and the breakthrough you thought was delayed forever is closer now than it has ever been before. And before this message ends, remember this carefully. Do not ignore what your spirit felt while listening today. If this message spoke directly to your situation, that is not coincidence. That is confirmation. God is preparing to shift something in your life, but your next decision matters. Choose faith over fear. Choose purpose over distraction. Choose obedience over comfort. Because the next chapter of your story will be written by the choices you make after hearing this warning today. Stay strong, stay watchful, and never forget that what God has prepared for you is greater than every attack that tried to stop you. Your breakthrough is coming, your season is changing, and your life is about to move in a direction that will shock everyone who thought your story was over.